Unit 7, Circles, Preview Video 7.2, Part 1, Inscribed Angles. Ready? In through the nose. Inhale. Breath. And breathe in. Make sure you get a date, time, and location. Students, you should be finding some post-it notes on this page, some post-it notes. That's going to be a very key component in today's lesson. So please, if you can't find them, go stop the video and go find yourself some post-it notes. You're going to need them. Take a moment and read today's vocabulary words out loud. So 2 words, prefixes. You could probably figure out what they are by the prefix. Circumscribe. Scribe means to draw. Circum means to go around. Magellan is the explorer that's accredited with, or at least his crew, with circumnavigating the globe. And inscribe means to draw inside. So we want to circumscribe a square around the circle. That means draw around with the sides touching. So we're going to sketch a circle, sketch a square touching just the sides from the outside. And that is called a square is circumscribed around the circle. Scribe again means to draw. Inscribe, a triangle. And an inscribe means to draw inside. Draw inside, corners touching, or vertex on, arms in. I'll explain arms in a moment. So the corners touching from the inside. And the vertex of angles are on the circle. Vertex on, that's what I mean by on, it's on the circle. And the arms of the angle are inside the circle. That's what I mean by arms in. That is an inscribed triangle. You're going to trace ACB. ACB is a central angle because its vertex is hinged on the center of the circle. And we learned that measure of a central angle to its arc the same. So if that central angle is 102 degrees, that arc is 102 degrees. Now we're going to draw in. ACB is your central angle, and it gave us this arc 102 degrees. Now we're going to draw in ADB. ADB. That is not a central angle. That is an inscribed angle. The vertex is on the circle, and the arms of the angle are in the circle. So this red is central, a central angle, and the blue is inscribed. Now I'm going to introduce, what are we going to do with those Post-its? There's something we call framing. Framing. So taking a look here, framing looks like this. If you have an inscribed angle, this right here would be inscribed, and then sweep the arc it's facing, and then this 45 is inscribed, and it sweeps its arc it's facing. So when I ask you to frame an angle, you are framing at the vertex. So ADB is an inscribed angle. If I ask you to frame it, this is what I mean. You frame it, you use your Post-it notes. And there's a very important property with inscribed angles. Inscribed angles are half the measure of the arc that they grab. So when you frame them, vertex on, this vertex is on, arms are in, hands grab an arc. So if this is 76, the inscribed angle is 76 divided by 2, and that's 38 degrees. So very simple property is that the angle for inscribed equals the arc over 2. Now I'd like you to frame this way, the 45. Right underneath here, the property is this: angle equals the arc over 2. In this case, you have the angle and you want the arc. So 45 equals whatever that arc is over 2. Cross multiply, and we find that if the angle is 45, the arc is 90 degrees. These are inscribed angles. Go to the next page. We're going to do this in real time because it's very important you see the physicality. So if inscribed angles grab, notice the quotes there, the same arc, they are congruent. Let me show you what I mean. I like you to frame up the angle ADB. So we're framing at D. Frame up the angle ADB. This is an inscribed angle. Why is it inscribed? Because the vertex is on the circle, the arms are in, and the hands grab an arc. So I'm going to color code this for you. If the arc here is 124, then this angle is going to be half of 124, which is 62 degrees, of course. Now, I'd like you to frame up the other angle, ACB. Ready? Sweep the angle, sweep the arc. This is an inscribed angle. The vertex is on, arms in, the hands, if you will, that's my little character of hands, grabs this 124, that makes this 62 degrees. So what we just illustrated is the fact that the yellow and the red inscribed angles grab the same arc, therefore we have congruent angles. We're going to draw an inscribed angle EHG. EHG. So go to E, go to H, go to G. This is inscribed. Why? The vertex is on the circle, the arms are in, and the hands, if you will, grab. Now we're going to frame this angle here because it has a very special property. Notice it's inscribed. I like you to physically trace with your finger. Physically trace it. This is important. It's inscribed in a semicircle. Now frame this up. Sweep, sweep. That inscribed angle here is half of the arc. So if it's semicircle, this is 180. Of course, that means back here is a 90-degree angle. So that's going to be true of all semicircles. If you inscribe an angle in a semicircle, it's going to be 90 degrees. So watch out for that 90 degrees. If an angle is inscribed in a semicircle, it is a right angle. Now, let's go ahead and do a couple problems together. I'd like you to trace ML, the arc, and MK, the arc. Trace ML, MK. Trace the complete circle. So with your finger, go all the way around. Please use your finger, go all the way around. And before you do anything else, you always try to find arcs before angles if at all possible. So just try to find arcs before angles if at all possible. So we're going to find this arc here. It's pretty obvious how to do that. So we found that the measure of this arc, because circles add up to 360, is going to be 200. Now we're going to frame LMK. Frame the angle. Now, right here. This angle is half of this arc, so if this arc is 200, this inscribed angle is 100 degrees. Why is it inscribed? The vertex is on, the arms are in, and the hands of the angle, if you will, grab an arc. I'm going to do one more with you, and then you're going to do one on your own. Okay, this page, find the measure of all possible angles and arc measures in the circle. So you always start with what is very obvious and very simple. And the very obvious thing is if you have a diameter, you always trace the diameter, stretch it out, and sweep. Diameter, trace, stretch, sweep. Now we have an inscribed angle. Once again, an inscribed angle, the vertex is on the circle. That's where you frame with the Post-it notes. Please get in the habit of framing up those angles. So sweep the angle, sweep the arc. We know that the angle is half of the arc. So basically to find the arc, you're simply doubling the 38. So we get 76 degrees. You ask yourself, what else can you find? Well, keep tracing. That's 180. Trace, trace, 76. So that means you can easily find this. Now this angle R back here is inscribed, so you want to grab your Post-it notes and frame it up. Sweep the angle, sweep the arc. And if this is 104 back here, this is going to be half of that, which of course is 52. You're like, you think you found everything, but it says all arcs are angles, so let's not overlook the obvious. We have a 180 arc over here. And you can frame at Q. Q is also an inscribed angle. Sweep the angle, sweep the arc. It's grabbing 180, so back here must be a 90-degree angle because it's inscribed. And inscribed angles are half the arc. Now, here's a way you can check to see if you're correct. Let's add these up. We have 38, 52, 90. $180, check. This page you're going to do on your own. I'd like you to read these instructions, follow them exactly, and then you're going to correct the video. So at this point, pause the video and do your own work. Pause the video, then restart. Alrighty, welcome back. Hopefully you're correcting and not cheating and simply copying. Step 1, it wants you to frame LMN. LMN. So you should have done this. Sweep the angle, sweep the arc. That would give this 66 degrees. Then you're supposed to frame MNL. MNL. That's this way. You should have framed. Sweep the angle, sweep the arc. That's also half. So that's going to be 71. And then you want to frame MLN. MLN. And we want to find this angle out here, this arc, if you will, because it's going to go with this angle right there. So we have 142 and 66. That's 208. 360 minus 208. So we found that this is 152. This angle back here is inscribed, so it's half of 152. It means it's going to be 76 degrees. Now, here's your check. We got a triangle in here, so we're going to go 33, 76, 71, and just do a little check here. That's 10. 180, check. I recommend you take a minute and recap today's material. Verbally, try to explain at least one problem to a family member, if at all possible.